Hello and welcome to DCP Live episode number 254, the Lost episode.
The Lost episode, where we will answer no questions.
We're not going to record this?
Yeah, this is a only live experience right here.
Specifically said you'll record it and then lose it, Brian. Come on.
Oh, right. You got to have it to lose it, right?
Yeah, you got to have it to lose it. Exactly. It's a philosophy, you know? Don't know what you got till you pave paradise. Put a
Brian loses it.
Before we jump into things,
I just saw the picture you put up for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we get Briar vegan by any chance? You know, some plant-based Briar. Would that be a possibility?
If we put enough pea protein in him, could maybe figure it out.
Yes, we have some news.
There's going to be plenty of that.
We have some news for the podcast, right? Watts, take it away.
You may notice if you're watching the video that Myelin is looking spiffy.
Dapper.
And there is a reason for that.
Splendid.
Hey, I got told it was a black tie event, and then no one's wearing ties, right? Look, I got my bow tie.
Good job, guys. Good job.
But Myelin is officially a permanent member of DCP.
Yep.
Hey.
Thanks for having me. I brought
Thanks for
Even
coming
though
on.
he banned me yesterday in his stream.
Oh.
Look at that cocktail, though. What a classy.
Yeah. What is that? What are you drinking?
This is an espresso martini.
Beautiful.
So fancy.
In lockdown, I made some cocktails on stream, and people got very offended by that, and so they sent me basically a cocktail kit. And so I've been learning how to make cocktails. And look, it's currently 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm spiraling. So
Welcome to DCP.
You're doing it right then.
I got a quick question. Were
What's the
people
topic, guys?
upset? Were people upset that you were making poor cocktails, or were they upset that you weren't drinking a Foster's?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a
I don't
good
know why you
question.
did this to me. Okay, so my first cocktail was in a. Do you guys have NutriBullets? Those things
Yeah.
that you blend.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little blender.
So
Yeah.
I was just I was just putting sorbet and alcohol into a NutriBullet and blending it and be like
my
cocky
God.
tail. And so people were like, that is not a cocktail. So now we learn. There you go.
That's amazing. Well, that's great. We welcome you to the show.
Cheers.
We're also expecting that
Cheers.
snake that's super poisonous at one point to show up on the show. So I hope you brought it.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. The reason I have my door closed is there is about 100 snakes in my living room. So-
Beautiful.
Oh man, I hope one of them like makes an appearance under the door, like kind of.
I hope the snake's wearing a bow tie.
Any chance we can get a dingo baby?
Dead.
It landed dead.
with a
That wasn't a
baby
no.
or
That wasn't a no.
A dingo with
Thought I
a
heard.
baby or a baby
You know,
dingo?
I guess I have to say it, a dingo baby like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I've got a story about dingo if you want one later.
Really? Okay, we need to save that. We got a huge amount. Well, unless you need to tell it right now. If you have to, you got to tell it.
Unless you can tell us the lore on it and it's got something to do with Savathun.
It's like, no.
All right, we better get into it because we got a lot to talk about.
There's a lot
Right?
a lot happened. My God. I guess
Where
we
do you want
start
to
with
start?
Yeah,
I
where do
guess we
start?
start in chronological order of the Witch Queen reveal.
Yes.
Okay.
That happened first.
Yeah, you're right.
Let's do
That was
Yeah.
the sickest reveal I've ever seen.
Yeah. It really was.
Uh-huh.
It just
I was
kept
just
going.
screaming.
They just
I
kept
was
going.
screaming.
It was,
You're right, Watts. It did. It just kept going. Like it started off and it was showing some cool stuff, and then it showed more cool stuff and more cool stuff, and it just kind of kept escalating.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of crazy. Like
Yeah. It just
Yeah,
yeah.
I was surprised how much they talked about it. It was more than I expected, because you sometimes we're 6 months out from the game. You expect maybe it's like, a 45-second teaser and a couple tidbits and they move on, but it was quite a bit of details, including today's TWAB, which is for after.
Yeah.
It was so much. It's a bit of a come down going back into Season of the Lost. I'm like, oh, wait a second.
Yes.
yeah.
Definitely felt that. Oh man.
You know what's You know what? I feel that sentiment. At the same time, I have to say, because of the reveal and the way that Season of Lost is set up as basically an epilogue, to me, it really leans on the reveal. That made it super exciting to hop into in a way that a season hasn't hit me. And, I'm sure we'll talk about that later too, but it really added to like that first mission. And I was like,
definitely,
oh, this is cool knowing how much is coming and getting those details. Like if we were still in the dark and it launched, I don't think it would have been quite as exciting.
Yeah. Okay.
But still exciting.
Gotta ask, what do you guys think of Hive Guardians?
I am so excited for Hive Guardians. So I was watching Fran's like recap of the reveal, and you kept watching the Acolyte with the Blade Barrage over and over again.
Yeah.
And it was just making me so happy watching an Acolyte just throw Blade Barrage, or like the first time a knight threw the Sentinel Shield. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for it. It's the Dark Guardians, right? We've always kind of said that we want Dark Guardians, and this is essentially that.
Yeah, we've speculated for so long, and they were like, let's just make Hive get reanimated and become Guardians. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm in. I'm in for this.
I have a couple of theories on this too.
Okay.
About like, so this is in Savathun's throne world, right?
Right.
You see them?
And her throne world is like very big.
Her throne world is an image of what she wanted, right? So she resides in a light castle surrounded by darkness jungle.
Interesting.
And
wow.
There's Hive Guardians in there. So part of me is thinking, I wonder if these are actually real ghosts, or is this only a construct of her Hive throne world?
Yeah, it's a good, like that was my first thing, and I know nothing about how the lore works, but I was like, how is she doing this? How did she either steal the light and bend it or whatever, or and what does that make these things?
Then we could never see a Hive Guardian on another planet.
I don't know. If
we don't know yet. That's what we got to find out, right? Like, because the thing that shocked me is, we can never get a new ghost. Ghosts are finite, so we just destroy them, like just Doomslayer crush them.
Yeah,
so
grab by the ghost.
That's pretty significant. We're not even attempting to like save these ghosts that have been corrupted by Savathun. So part of me is like, I wonder
if they're corrupted ghosts, right? Because are you saying that they definitely are corrupted ghosts, or that she made these,
So I think you have a couple options. So either she is a construct of her throne world, or there are plenty of ghosts that are not partnered with their guardians yet. There's a whole like network of unpartnered ghosts that still haven't found their pair. Yeah. So I wonder if she got hold of unpartnered ghosts, or she, like the Praxic Warlocks, you can trap ghosts. There's like technology to capture ghosts and steal them. You kill a guardian and then you steal their ghost. So I wonder whether there's lore about if we'll find out that she's trapped a whole bunch of ghosts and then corrupted them with some sort of ritual.
Interesting.
So apparently in the new activity dialogue, Crow tells Ikora that Osiris, which was Savathun, requested dead ghosts from Spider's collection.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Which is...
So it's like she reanimated him?
Mylin's like, oh big. No!
Oh, I gotta go!
That's big.
Yeah, so not to jump...
He's making notes.
That's Nokris. That's Nokris.
Oh, Nokris.
Remember, Nokris taught her necromancy in Season of Arrivals.
Oh, fascinating.
Oh, wow.
So
of course I remember that.
So not to jump.
What's the lore on that?
Not to jump around too far, but like in this season, what we've already learned is Savathun, or at least the idea is that she's trying to get rid of her worm to be free of like whatever type of construct that's happening in the Hive world, and obviously the Season of Lost is connecting to what's happening in the Witch Queen, which I will say is a little weird seeing what's gonna happen with Witch Queen.
Exactly. It is a little weird.
And then also being playing out. So
trust me, it's fine. And we're like, really? Because I just saw a thing that's not fine.
Just saw a cinematic that's going to be 6 months away. That's definitely not fine, So it makes me wonder though if like if there's like the Nokris being able to reanimate, resurrect, all that stuff, but also maybe her trick is that she's trying to get trying to capture the light somehow while being in close proximity to us, and
she's siphoning us. How dare she?
Yeah, I don't know, siphoning, or if there's a way that she can get a piece of the Traveler somehow and like use that to suddenly gain powers of animating with the light and get those light powers.
Well, a lot of people were bringing up Savathun's song and the actual strike mission with Takeo and siphoning the light. I think there's a whole bunch of dialogue.
Oh yeah, of course. Forgot about that.
The void crystals and
the void crystals.
So maybe there's something there as well.
Yeah.
This isn't fair.
Either way,
because
she pulled it off.
This deserves so much more time, but there's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
We have to move on.
Yeah.
They also announced a new campaign with a legendary mode. They made special notes to talk about the campaign as well, like it's going to be something special. I felt when I was watching it.
Yeah, they were talking about Halo, right? And being like, Halo had epic campaign, and
they were like God of War, and I was like, oh,
yeah, I know, right?
Some names there.
Yeah, calm down, Bungie.
Easy, buddy.
Savathun's going to come out and go, boy. And you're like, oh, shit.
And they're like, see, God of War.
I was excited they put a focus on it. They didn't talk too much about, like what makes it that. But I think I was trying to remember if it was in their Bungie.net update, there was mention of, I think it was something about trying to take, what we've seen with Harbinger and, the exotic missions and some of the other things we've seen separated out, and dungeons even, I think. But they said something like bringing that all together. So this is not verbatim. I think I read it on Bungie.net, but I think that maybe that's it. They're beefing it up with a lot of these learnings, and hopefully it is a little more robust.
So they're talking about the legendary mode though, because they specifically said about how you have the campaign, and they wanted to make it so you can also go back, replay it in this legendary mode
and get rewards.
Yeah, get rewards for it as well, but also kind of have this experience of reminiscent of hard Halo style missions and all that.
Legendary lasso runs.
Yeah, that made me go, oh boy, yes,
Destiny's
please.
turning into a Souls-like.
Souls-like adventure game. Yeah, exactly.
That's really cool. And you get more rewards, right, if you're solo. So it scales depending on
it
who's
does
in your team.
scale.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's really fun too. And from a storytelling point of view, if you can give people a reason to go back and play campaigns, that's how you build a really strong foundation when people understand the story. So that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, lore crawl type of stuff where you can see what's happening.
Lore crawl.
I'm a big fan of lore crawls.
Mate,
all right,
I'll be crawling after this, bad boy. Come join me.
Yeah, that makes me very excited. Legendary campaigns, hell yeah.
Yeah, by the way, just so I get it right, the one sentence was, the Witch Queen is the definitive Destiny 2 campaign that captures the special feelings from memorable activities like Presage and our favorite dungeons and translates them into a campaign experience. So, maybe
Very
not quite
exciting.
what I was saying. But yeah, there's something about that. When you play those exotic missions, they do have a very special feeling. So getting more of that in the campaign and not just separate it out could be.
It tells me that they've listened to, we don't necessarily like doing a one-off campaign and then it just disappears. Like we like to have these experiences that are exciting to play through, and if there's a twist on it with a harder difficulty and more rewards, then awesome. Yes,
and
please.
also, they're going to make these, or it seems to me they're going to make them more replayable, right? It's like by definition, this is going to be added to like kind of the pillars of replayable content in Destiny. It's like this campaign will now, hopefully start a new trend where daily story missions can be
Bring
part
back
of your
that trend.
weekly activities. Yeah.
bring it back from D1 heroic missions. Yeah, exactly. Cool. All right. Moving on.
So and we saw a lot of the Savathun's throne world, the swamp. Got to see the swampy stuff. Looks very good.
Any idea what the swamp is specifically, aside from it like, is it something
Wet.
Yeah, is it something other than the throne world? Or like
I wrote this quote down because the creative director James said the Savathun's throne. God, I'm already slurring my words. I've only had 2 sips. This is an uncharted wonderland of secrets and lies. It is this place she created in her own image. This surreal and majestic light-blessed world. She has this castle and it's her rules. It overlooks this dark, swampy underbelly with this lone pyramid ship. It is the future world that she wanted to create, built to top the darkness she left behind.
Wow, swamp ass.
So I think it's
Myelin,
metaphoric.
is she not
swampy?
Is she somehow separate from the darkness? Are they separating her from like?
Well, I think that feeds into her plot of trying to get rid of her worm, because the worm and the darkness are not necessarily the same thing, although they're sort of in the same lineage. In the fact that when Oryx got powerful enough, you know, through his worm, he could speak with the darkness and met with the darkness. And Savathun's sort of trying to get rid of her worm because of that bargain, and she doesn't want to be tied to the worm anymore. So this would, her throne world seems to indicate that she wants to separate from not only from the worm, but be separate from the darkness. Doesn't make her any more of a hero or villain, but as a god of trickery, she's in like a bargain right now where she does not have the upper hand. She's constantly has to feed her worm.
Well, that's what we think.
Right? Yeah.
She wants to be a villain that wields the light. She wants to be a guardian.
Yeah, that's her image. Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Going back to the actual like biomes that they showed though, like the swamp, the castle, and the pyramid ship. Like to me, like right away, I was like, okay, so there's at least like 3 different like biomes that we're gonna be playing in this space, right? It's like the pyramid ship hopefully we'll get to go inside a pyramid ship and like explore that. We'll have the swamps, and then hopefully we'll get to go into the castle and explore that. Although who knows if that'll be strike content or raid content or what.
Yeah, it looked cool. It was interesting because I've always had this image in my head that Throne Worlds have like a Taken aesthetic. But
right, that's what I was thinking too.
I've realized that was like Shattered Throne was only like that because Oryx took it and Oryx invaded it, and that's why it was so Taken. Because the other Throne Worlds we know of is like the Dreadnought is technically Oryx's Throne World. You know, it doesn't have always the Taken aspect. Oh god, no, keep going.
Aesthetic.
Aesthetic to it. Yeah.
They have to
it's
vary
cool
it over
Throne
time.
World.
You know, if every time we got a Hive like a like piece of content, it always looked exactly the same, it would get pretty old pretty quick. So they got to vary it up.
Yeah, it's nice. Yep.
And it was confirmed that the raid is on the ship, by the way.
Pyramid ship.
Yeah. Yep.
Really?
The raid is in the pyramid ship.
Wow.
Mylin's like, gotta go again, gotta take that.
Hold on.
Adios.
Hold on. These are clickable titles.
They also talked about a new weapon crafting system.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
On the glaive.
Yeah, and the glaive, a new weapon archetype, which you'll only be able to get that through weapon crafting. But what struck me about when they were talking about the new weapon crafting system is that you will be able to build your new weapon by using it. And it seemed like what they were saying was you'd be kind of gaining experience on that weapon, and that would allow you to customize it.
Yeah.
Which is extremely exciting.
They didn't announce any of the mechanics, but they showed what looked like a very complex thing in some sort of space somewhere that would show your level progression, weapon crafting progression. So, not just an exotic quest crafting where you collect pieces and it's like it's built, but like actually having some autonomy,
more like a skill tree when you're playing an RPG character.
Yeah,
which would be amazing.
Yeah,
I got that vibe too, Briar, that it was like harkening back to, in a way, when we leveled up our weapons in Destiny 1, but obviously I think more complex now, and there's some mission as well as this leveling up process to get it to the next level. It was just the vibe. I don't know.
So my impression of it was definitely different. I thought it felt like we were getting pieces of the puzzle to put together and bring it to that table to then craft it together.
Yeah, I think it's a combo.
Yeah, because I'd actually.
Yeah, I kind of took that it was a combo as well. Like that you initially find pieces and put the weapon together, and then you power it up through using it.
Yeah, they say you'll be able to hunt for specific perks, which is another feature of this. But you're also
does that mean grind for random perks, or does that mean do specific activities in an effort to get a specific reward.
I reckon have a wild guess. I want to be grind to get random perfect.
I felt like it was both that you. I don't know if it applies to the glaive, but in weapon crafting, I felt like we were going to have that right. It's not just about being able to craft a weapon. Of course, it's about the roll. So how do you get that perfect roll for you?
Yeah,
and putting that all in one place, as opposed to just getting the drop out of thin air, and that begs that question, which is, well, what does that mean for the weapons that do drop out of engrams?
Right.
Versus this, which is more specific. So be curious.
It's very exciting. Like I would love for Bungie to knock it out of the park with an awesome craftable weapon experience, because it would be so interesting to be able to get pieces and components. I really hope it's robust, because when it becomes more like you were saying, like a quest chain, I hope it's not that, where it's just grab this, now this, now this, and it pops up on the screen. I want to be like interactive with making my weapon. Yeah. Hey, I want that experience.
I want to feel more connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to build towards something as opposed to just hope for something random that I want to drop.
Yeah. I was gonna say, do you think they would go as far to be inspired by like building a lightsaber kind of idea, or do you think we'll all end up?
It is good. I'm not on camera, because that is not safe.
That excited?
Oh man, that would get me excited.
Do you think they might go that far, that your glaive is more personalized, or that it's just
that would be dope?
I hope so. That would be great. I guess it depends on how many variations that they're going to be able to make, because clearly they can't just make suddenly a million combinations and then have a balancing nightmare. They have to make certain paths and trees that make sense for the stuff.
True.
Although cosmetically, I think they could have a ton of options for cosmetics. So, which
cosmetically would be a really interesting way to put those two together.
Yeah. They also said that, with the glaive specifically, that looks amazing. And they've made the distinction now.
It looks like a shotgun grenade launcher sword.
Yeah, I got the impression.
I can see that.
I got the impression of a hip fire sniper.
Okay.
It sounds exactly like a sword. And then it has like travel distance like a grenade launcher. I'm a little concerned.
Some Star Wars weapon that's like that, like a spear that shoots a laser.
Yeah, it's a spear that shoots some kind of projectile.
Laser spear.
Yeah.
Laser spear.
Given the weapon type, though, I just would assume it's meant to be mostly engaged up close, Not that you couldn't use it far away, but I have a feeling both in ammo amount. I mean, I don't know if they said it's a heavy.
It's special.
It's special. It's special.
Yeah. Oh, it is special. That's right.
Yeah, it's a special weapon. It's got up close melee abilities, and then like this hip fire thing. Like that looks badass.
But yeah, I mean, still
looks very cool. I'm excited.
To that end, I would still bet close up, right? Like Watts was saying, like closer to shotgun distance and maybe fusion distance. I don't know, but
could be fusion distance.
It's a first-person melee weapon, right? That's the first time we've had that in Destiny. So not only is this a new archetype, but it's a new way of interacting with melee weapons in Destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then later on, they kind of confirmed that they, with the trial stuff, they've moved away from. Or not with the trial stuff, with the weapon tuning stuff, that they're moving away from weapons, allowing you to go into third person without ammo and all that. So, specifically treating that to get rid of that stuff that's happening. But
I can't wait for a custom game with the whole two teams with spears.
Yeah,
Mordhau
spear only. That'd be awesome. One thing I wanted to point out though with the crafting is that they said, I'm pretty sure they said this, that everything like raid wise and other type of weapons that were coming. We're going to be interacting with that, the crafting system, the table to craft, right? So, cool, right? Go get some awesome raid drops, and then you craft. Crafting. Yeah, you craft your raid weapons and all that.
I'm looking forward to like a full hour-long stream of Bungie just explaining this new crafting system, because I expect to see it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a big old twab of discussions about how crafting is going to work. So.
Yeah. Oh, they haven't really done streams like they used to when Deej was the community manager. They haven't really done that kind of stuff lately.
Yeah, well, this was kind of like that, right? Just it's pre-recorded because of COVID.
Pre-recorded, but yeah, you're right.
I'm glad it was produced ahead of time. Like you could just see how much more polish and pacing.
It was hit after hit. It was like watching.
It was nuts.
Yeah. It was like watching TikTok. It was just so fast.
So what was after the weapon crafting in that video? Was it the announcement, the story narrative? Okay, I'll go on with the narrative stuff. They talked.
It might have been the. Oh yeah, you can go with that. They did talk about the 30th anniversary, so that's something.
No, but before that though, they talked about the next. So they're doing this thing where they're having like basically 3 expansions announced at a time with Destiny. You know?
Oh right, yes.
And the final.
Yeah, that's true.
So the story, the Light and Darkness saga, is going to complete with, what was it called? Final Shape? Is that the name of the expansion?
Final Shape.
Yeah. So, and they specifically said
TFS.
This saga will conclude in the Destiny universe and will end with the Final Shape, which is like 2 years away from now, or 3 years. And then it's going to be new Destiny saga after that. So they definitely want to put to rest any claims that the game is going to die or something like that. And it's it's going
Joe
on after that.
Joe did an interview on Twitch about that as well, and said that the Final Shape is concluding the Light and Darkness saga, and then there will be something else after that. We'll be going to new places and doing new things. Because he said
new places.
On that stream that he they don't want to keep telling the same story. They want it to be a game that goes on for many, many, many years, and they don't just want to tell, dark and light story forever. So
cool.
Definitely not concluding with the Final Shape. It's not going to be the end of the game. It's just the end
I want to go to the Cabal Empire. Where is it?
Final Shape is like super specific and important words for lore. Like this is something that comes up in the Books of Sorrow a lot. It comes up in, I think, the Season of Arrivals, and it's all to do with light versus darkness, essentially, and a couple different versions of what it might mean. But darkness looks at whittling the universe away. You cut away the weakness. That was Oryx's way of thinking until it's its final shape. Whereas the light's about building, creating golden ages, and the darkness gets rid of that, right? So you make the diamond, the final shape, by getting rid of impurities. So the final shape might be, considering it comes after Lightfall, maybe that's our final darkness season, I guess. And I guess that's what they were saying with Light and Dark saga.
Cool.
Like for me, the sweeping, overview of it felt like, to again draw, I guess, a Star Wars similar to, trilogies. I don't know if it'll span times like that, but packaging up a trilogy, it's what it feels like to me. You literally have a trilogy coming right now to kind of wrap up this Light and Darkness saga, and then we're going to move on to whatever's next. I'm more interested in how they, what we've seen them doing now is like get rid of this location, bring in a new one.
The vaulting,
how do you do a final bait and switch, when you arrive at the final shape? Is it going to be a bigger reset like we've effectively seen with a sequel? And we've talked about this for a long time. We don't care what they call it, and they don't have to reinvent every system and blow up your vault. So maybe that's what we'll see after the final shape, is a new moment in time where there's a bigger refresh on things. Or what? Because like what happens when you do a reset?
They blow up the solar system.
But that would mean wiping out a lot of stuff, right? Which is not what we're accustomed to. But I mean, we're talking about 2025. So I mean, we've got a ways, probably.
Maybe at that point,
there's nothing in between.
Yeah, maybe at that point we're going to have like 10 terabyte hard drives, and they won't have to delete everything. Okay.
Yeah, we'll still be on PlayStation 5, and
to me, it immediately made me think, okay, maybe we are going to finally leave the solar system. Like maybe we are going to actually, like, that is such an obvious reset to me. Is like, okay, we beat off the darkness, or maybe we're going to chase it down, or maybe we're going to go explore and just leave.
What was that, Briar? What did we do to
my joke? I'm glad.
I picked up on it right away.
Children. Of course we did. Phrasing. I don't know. It does sound more like a reborn moment. It requires a harder reset in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
If there's no light and dark, what's Destiny?
Yeah,
right?
you have
what do you do? What's
3 or 4 light subclasses and the dark, stasis and more. And so it's like, what happens to all that when that's coming to a close? But I think that's what we'll see progressively starting to happen.
I sort of got the impression it was more narrative, in the sense that not always going to be focused on light being good, dark being bad. And that's sort of what started to come out with Beyond Light. Now, Witch Queen is, Savathun has the light. So sort of moving away from these polar opposites. And I'm hoping a focus on just characters and just good storytelling, rather than being set within good and evil. And you can see that they're like muddying the waters the closer we get, with Beyond Light, we started wielding Stasis. Witch Queen, we see Savathun wield the lights. Lightfall, obviously something's going to happen. And then, so maybe it's just a way for them to really open up the narrative to move away from this bad guy's darkness, we're the light, and to sort of, we still have.
It feels like they've been
darkness,
moving away from that quite a bit, right?
Yeah, the past seasons, season narratives, and this season narrative, like all of it's very muddying. Like bringing in the Fallen. The Fallen are buddies now, and like, oh, we teamed up with Keitel.
Even
and
the truth,
now we're talking to Savathun in a crystallized thing.
They also announced that they're going to change the light subclasses, and I wonder if that could be worked into the lore as well, right? It's like now we're no longer tied to.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was thinking of Lightfall, and I was like, man, the name Lightfall is like implying that we're
gonna lose the light.
You think you're gonna lose it though? Because I don't want to
lose. Gonna
lose.
take off. He's gone.
Well, I don't want the Traveler to be the reason.
Have it instead.
Oh yeah, they're gonna take the Traveler and be all like, "This is ours now."
Then we're like,
look at me.
Too bad.
I am the captain now. It's very fascinating, and I love to see this go places that we finally. I feel like we've been dreaming about it as Destiny players to see the story evolve beyond the light and darkness saga, and like we're finally we're seeing the third act, right?
Yeah, it's the reveal to like summarize how I felt about it is like they kind of showed me everything that I've wanted Destiny to be for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I want. Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly on that note, like it's so far away. If you think about it, by the time all this concludes, it's the equivalent of 50% of the time we've lived of Destiny today, right? We're going into the 8th year or whatever. So you're talking like 4 years from now. So it's a long time when you think of how much Destiny has evolved in the last 4 years. So who knows? Who can even like really speculate? But lore wise, I think Myelin could probably nail it. So, but aside from that, I'm with Watson. Overall, the biggest thing that stood out to me was like, okay, wait a sec. They were leaving Activision. Shadow keeps coming out. They're starting to untie, all these systems. They're starting to rebuild the way the teams work together. And we're hearing all about it in little pieces, but we're not quite seeing it yet. This year, we started to see, we talked for so long about what does a season look like? We're starting to really see what a season looks like as of the season of Chosen. Really, I think we started to see that model rolling out. And then, anyway, when I saw Witch Queen and all they're talking about, I was like, oh, the cylinders are firing. They've been firing for the past year or more, and now we're going to see the results. So I'm pretty excited for Witch Queen, way more than I've ever been excited for an expansion, and not just because it looks dark and cool, but because all those cylinders are firing. So
20 million new players.
Yeah, since the split from Activision, there's been 20 million new Destiny.
Yeah, they said that on the stream, and I was like, "Damn, 20 million! How many of
like,
those?"
This isn't our little small game that no one likes anymore.
Be like, man, dead game, am I right?
Destiny's dead.
The cynical part of me immediately was like, yeah, but 10 million were like,
how many active players?
10 million were recov counts, right? Come on.
Oh, God. I thought you were going to say active players because that's the number you want. But still, that all those people are trying it. I'm seeing it in my feeds now, even because of all the hype. People are like, oh, I finally tried it out. People are starting to see the polish that's here now, where all they remember is they tried it in 2014, and what a different experience,
on a launch PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
It's impressive, right?
I want to say one other thing from Final Shape because chat's giving me a hard time. The other interpretation of Final Shape is that it'll be balance. We're doing a full loop back to the creation of the universe, which was light, balance with the darkness. There's no good, there's no evil, there's just balance. And there's a couple lore entries that talk about it's a pattern. It's a Final Shape. It is perfect balance with light and darkness, which will open up story narratives to. There's no one, baddies can wield light, baddies can wield darkness. It doesn't matter. We wield both. When probably neither a hero or a villain. It's now just about storytelling. Final Shape.
Fascinating. Huh.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's cool. Yeah.
I don't know how long this presentation was. Did anybody know? Was it about an hour?
It was an hour for the showcase. It was an hour for the pre-show. And the pre-show, by the way, I just want to say real quick that was super cool. seeing all
good.
of the art from the community and stories from the community of what the game means to them or what Bungie has meant to them was really awesome.
They went into this 30th anniversary.
Yes. I have a list of what's in it if you're interested.
Okay, what is it though? It's an
event happening in December. And
separate paid for event, right? You have to pay separately.
Yeah, so there is for some of it. There is a free portion of it, and then there is a paid version of it. And they're adding a bunch of things. They're adding a dungeon, which is going to take place in the loot cave, which I thought was
amazing,
perfect.
Yeah,
I saw them walking into the loot cave.
It brings a tear to your eye.
Yeah, it's I love that they decided to do that. So we are getting a dungeon, which is dope. You're gonna by completing the dungeon, you're gonna get Galahorn. So they confirmed that is how you get Galahorn. It's not going to be a random drop. It's not going to be like, oh my God, when is it going to happen? You play the dungeon and you will get Galahorn.
Yeah. They said it was going to be tuned also for the sandbox. Yeah. So don't expect it to be
carefully.
Broken.
We are carefully
now, right?
putting it.
Is it legendary?
Didn't they say it was a legendary?
No, it's an exotic rock.
Oh, I thought I saw that it was okay. My bad.
Fran, you've just made that up.
Oh, dare you.
Apparently I did,
yeah. They're also adding... So yeah, it's a treasure-themed 3-player dungeon in the Cosmodrome, which is perfect because, loot cave, treasure-themed, perfect.
Yeah.
What was the sword? The sword was from another game, right?
Yeah, so they're adding a Thorn armor set is part of it. They're adding Marathon and Bungie 30th anniversary streetwear-inspired ornament sets.
Cool.
I might have to buy these.
A collection of Destiny 1 weapons, including AS Luna and 1,000-yard stare, Claymore sword, which is what Myelin's talking about, inspired by Myth. So it's the Claymore sword is coming.
Cool.
Shotgun inspired by Marathon. Unique helmet ornament. Exotic sparrows, exotic ships, emblem shaders, and more. Emblem shaders, emotes.
By the way, you reckon we're going to get Halo stuff? Or is it too tightly locked up with
I
Microsoft?
think it's the IP is too locked with Microsoft and they wouldn't allow it.
Man, it would be so awesome to see it though. I could see them doing it.
I think you'll see it eventually one day at crossover, but I think it's more about how does it even fit into the world? Like, how do you pull off if you stick to your lore and all that? But like an emote, would be an easy place to do it.
Imagine. And I think the free portion of it is the 6-player activity, the new 6-player activity.
Days of Eternity. Yeah.
Cool.
We're getting a lot for the 30th anniversary. I'm really excited because it's happening in December. Yeah.
December 7th, I think, is what this says.
Kind of the midpoint between now and and
which
new expansion, right?
Yep.
And also traditionally when we would get a DLC or
it's like the season was offset because of the delay, but they found some resources to still fill it in with something.
Yeah.
So
instead of baking cookies with Ava, we're doing the 30th anniversary.
We're going to a dungeon and getting Galahorn and Thorn armor.
Galahorn in the loot cave.
Won't we still be baking cookies too? I'm sure.
Maybe they'll have both. I'll show up too, Ava.
Didn't they say a couple months ago that they were going to really start reworking in the seasonal activities though? Like the holiday events?
I don't remember. Maybe they did.
Remember.
Yeah.
Don't remember.
Cool.
They also put Witch Cream up for pre-order.
Yeah.
I haven't done that
including the deluxe edition.
Yep.
That has that little ghost thing in it, like the evil ghost light up.
The Hive ghost.
Those
kind of sold out immediately.
Apparently. Yeah, I know. Really I missed it.
But Joe also did say on the interview at Twitch that they will be doing everything they can to make sure everyone who wants one will be able to purchase one.
That's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
So hopefully they can do that. Oh, but the big thing that they said during the showcase as well is that every 3 months there's going to be new dungeon or raid content.
Yes, that was good.
Yeah,
that was good information.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's a reprised raid or whether it's dungeon or something else, just regular 3 months end game content, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about before. Like, it just feel like we're seeing the pace of things to come and having actual confidence in all of that, and for them to come out and be able to just say like, yeah, you'll be getting a raid or a dungeon every 3 months. You're like, wow, like this is not a Destiny we've seen.
Content.
Yeah, it's always been a surprise, which, is fun in the moment, but usually you're like, what? I am grinding. I need to know that you're on board with me. Give me another dungeon, So it's a lot of work, obviously. And again, I think they've spent a lot of time organizing the teams, and it's a tremendous amount of work. You see, even with Season of the Lost coming out, like there's always going to be things to fix, and the pandemic has have a lot of people at home on top of it. But it's just amazing to see how big it's become, and that it's not, it's not slowing down. The uninformed out there think Destiny is on some like loop from 2014, and it couldn't be different. Like it is, this an evolved.
This is pretty crazy.
Every time I play Destiny and come back to it after a break for maybe a week or two or a month, even sometimes. I mean, I always dabble, but new content when I hit it, I'm like, dang. It's a good-looking, polished game. Like,
it really is.
Every time you come in,
it's better looking.
Yeah, it gets better looking.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It is,
doesn't
like they make subtle tweaks to it over time. The game looks better than it did at launch, for sure.
Oh yeah,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Everything's been switched to the new engine work that they did.
Right.
It's
speaking of getting a raid or a dungeon every 3 months, I would have liked them to say also, here's the schedule for Crucible maps and here's the schedule for strikes. Because those are such foundational pillars that you interact with every day as a Destiny player. Whereas a raid is kind of like, it's exciting. There are definitely players who interact with raids every day, but so many people interact with the strike playlist and the Crucible playlist on a daily basis.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to get a little content update there.
I hear you. Maybe that's coming. Maybe that's something they're holding off to start talking about until they get closer to the Witch Queen.
They talked a little bit about Crucible maps of like the scheduling they were going to do, which we touched on in the TWAB that they talked about it. Strikes, I don't know, but
yeah,
I think you got to save some things. Like we're 6 months out, so hopefully your point stands. But hopefully we see it.
Speaking of stuff, what else was in that reveal? Anything else after the 30th anniversary?
Light subclasses.
Yeah,
light subclasses updates was in there.
That's in the TWAB today.
Yeah.
And then other than that, it was about Season of the Lost. I think was
much it. Beginning the story.
Anti-cheat is that in TWAB as well?
It was a combination of both.
Yep,
it's here.
Also,
they're taking a stance on recovs. So they're gonna start banning people for paid recovs. They're also doing you have to own that year's expansion to play Trials.
Right, that's really
so you have
good.
to
That's a big change.
Huge change. There goes that 20 million Guardians.
If you want to cheat in my game, you can fund a new dungeon for me. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I am very happy with their stance on this stuff. Like they've been needing to take a stance on the recov situation for a long time, and the fact that you could just make a free account and play Trials, well, I mean, you had to jump through a few hoops, but like, come on, not owning anything and you can still play Trials definitely caused issues.
And all you need is a blue sniper if you got the cheats. So
yeah,
you don't
exactly.
even need to grind for guns.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, so that's amazing. I'm really happy that Bungie did that. Well done.
There was the big Trials update as well, which is something that. So do we want to go through that?
Well, no. Let's go through Season of Lost now. So because they went from they went from the reveal, and then they said Season of Lost, the Tale of Two Queens, right?
Tale of Two Queens.
Right, Myelin?
Yes. First that we had seen of it.
Yes, Myelin.
I have 5 pages of notes on Season of the Lost from just day one playing. I don't know.
Awesome.
If we are we going to cover like week 1 of Season Lost, or is that
no? We should, yeah, for sure. I think this could perfectly dovetails into that too, like what's happening, story wise and all that. Because
it's pretty
it's bonkers, right?
It's pretty big spoilers. So I actually think the Witch Queen reveal didn't really give too many hints about Season of the Lost. It sort of just introduced it, but there are massive bombshells as soon as you play Mission 1 of Season of the Lost.
So spoiler alert, if you are looking to not have any spoilers going into the game fresh for the season, now's the time to turn off the podcast and then come back to it when you've done that. You've been warned. Continue.
So first mission, we head into the Dreaming City to bring back Osiris, right? To get his thoughts on why he did what he did in the epilogue of Season of Spices, and morphs. We don't quite see it, but we morphs into Savathun. Reveals I have been Savathun.
It's me.
It's me. The whole time when we said when he came back, it was it was a Savathun the entire time, right?
Yep. Since losing Gira. I think there's a couple bits of dialogue talks about that moment. That's when she took his form. So everything that we thought or like theorized about odd behavior gets revealed that yes, it was Savathun. Mara says Osiris is still alive, and she is working with Savathun to help Savathun get rid of her worm. Mara's sort of trying to play the game. If we can get rid of Savathun's worm, that means no more immortal Hive God, which means we can take Savathun out. Of course, the big thing is like these two queens. Savathun thinks she's winning, even though she's like in this cocoon at the moment, which is very symbolic of the original Hive, the moth people. We've seen what the cocoon. We've seen her actually reborn, right? We've seen her.
Yeah, we kind of know this isn't going to work, don't we?
Right. We know she's going to emerge from a cocoon more powerful than when she went in.
And she's got wings, moth wings.
She got
her
big moth
design
wings.
is really cool.
Yeah.
The crown.
Super,
super cool.
I love the way she
Yes. So we don't actually see her design in the season of Lost, but we know what she's going to emerge as, what she's going to evolve into, being the Witch Queen. So they're both playing each other off. Mara thinks she's got the upper hand, and obviously Savathun is being quite cocky too, because we get to talk to her when she's in the cocoon. And she actually, we got a great cutscene. We got an ink blot cutscene of Savathun explaining her point of view and putting her spin on the truth of everything that's happened. Like, oh, I brought the House of Light to you on their knees.
I'm like, did you? Are you sure you did all of that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you killed
Lakshmi.
Okay.
I brought the crow into your city so he can be redeemed. So she gives her
I saved
version.
Zavala. It was me.
Yeah.
I love her voice so much.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, we got the reveal of the voice actress.
Oh, really?
In the TWAB. Yes. It is
it was in the TWAB. I missed that.
Yeah, Deborah Wilson.
Oh. Very cool.
Deborah Wilson.
Wait, I know that.
She's doing a badass job.
Yeah. Mad TV.
Oh, nice.
Of course.
Yeah,
she's crushing it.
Yeah.
She's done some other voices recently too, I think.
She has Outer Wilds, Outer Worlds.
That's Deborah Wilson. Wow, it sounds so
Deborah
good.
Wilson.
It's perfect.
She's doing amazing.
Just fits so well.
Yeah.
All right. So we get that.
The whole sort of Season of the Lost premise is to free Savathun of a worm. Mara says we need our Techians back, the Tech Witches, which are the Awoken you see in the Taken King around Mara when she's on her flagship, and they're sort of like powerful Awoken essentially, and they have other mystical powers. We're not quite sure what they are, but they form this group called the Coven, and they're obviously just supercharged Awoken. And when Mara Stov was trying to get back into the Dreaming City, she was ambushed by Zivu Arath, the other sister to Oryx. Yeah. And these Techians have been lost in the space between, I guess, between Ascendant Plane and our reality. And this is the cool part of this season. They're actually giving, previously, we didn't really know how Ascendant Planes and Throne Worlds and how this stuff all works. And now they're sort of like giving this sci-fi background, like they're coins stacked on top of each other, and these things called the
ley lines? The midichlorians.
Yeah, we're telling about the midichlorians.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Now the coin stacking was
explaining fantasy.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, they were talking about the ley lines connecting the coins back and forth, and like basically passages for them to walk through to travel. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have to reconnect these ley lines to discover, to bring home the Techians. And, you know, we're working towards the end of the season being, we've collected all the Pokemon, we've collected all the Techians. What happens there?
Yeah.
Do we finally rid Savathun of the worm? We're assuming she's going to emerge into a beautiful moth lady.
Well, we've seen her. I mean,
embrace the lights.
Oh, she's gorgeous.
Beautiful art.
Beautiful art. And then there's a side plot going on with the exotic, which talks about kestrels. And it's a metaphor for Marisol and her brother Aldrin, which is awesome because now they're exploring that relationship now that he's back.
And all that, right?
And as I'm sure
really good.
Myelin already did, right? If you do that second quest they give you this week, that they give you a bunch of voice on it, and so to his point, they really break it down in that voice. So you don't even have to read it in Triumphs. They did a really nice job.
I really appreciated that they give like a full on voiceover for that, because that was very fascinating. I mean, I knew right away that they were talking about the two of them, and then like confirms it. I was like, okay, this is fascinating.
Wow. It's Aldrin speaking to you, so it's cool.
Yeah. So you actually get because Marasov has like a whole book dedicated to her backstory. Like how she created the Awoken and her relationship with her brother, and they sort of brought some of that back in into this story about the Kestrels being Marasov and Aldrin, and that's for these two Awoken relics, the crown and the scepter. And I believe that the scepter is going to be the exotic weapon from.
Yeah, I think it was
from
the
memory.
Scepter. I think you're right.
Cool.
Yeah.
The Ager. What is it? Ager.
Ager, something like that. Ager's scepter. These two powerful relics. So things are activating in the Dreaming City, and where Prince Aldrin apparently found the scepter previously, and he's left these diary entries, and so we're in this gateway area creating a star map using the ley lines to
I love it.
Find a treasure map basically to an ancient Awoken relic that's going to be on your weapon.
It's so cool because this really is the first time to see that type of technology. Like you were saying, it's like the technology and the sci-fi coming together to make it's like a movie, right? Like they're giving the movie science behind it as to why these things are going to work, and now they're finally connected in this world that we've been playing for so long. I love it. It's cool.
Yeah. More than ever, I've I don't pay enough attention to the lore. I'll admit it. I think some of us are, victims of that here. But like this, I mean, Briar's,
but I am looking at the screen.
Briar's like super excited, so I'm always embarrassed to be on a show with him. But really, for real, like for more than any time in the history of Destiny, I've never felt like I understood it more than getting into this season and them telling me what's coming.
That's because they're doing it in game.
Yeah, they're doing it in game, but it's been a main thread where before it was so buried. It's
very cohesive as well.
Yeah.
And what they're doing, you saw a lot in Season of Splicer, and I didn't quite understand and know about it until I did a full recap. But they tell you multiple times in different ways. You get text on screen, you get voice over, you get a quest, you get dialogue after finishing a seasonal activity. So for players who are sort of dipping in and out of consciousness when they're playing Destiny, you eventually, over weeks and weeks, you pick up on the narrative thread. And you don't have to go and read everything, and they repeat it multiple times. And I think we'll see, and that's why it feels cohesive, because you feel like you can follow it.
Yeah, but to the, I mean, it definitely is all of those things, but things like an opening mission, like just remember, we didn't always just drop straight into a mission with like a cutscene, and it's so much more cohesive. But to the writer's credit, years of work of focusing on these main characters, and that's where I just feel like the work has been so well done, and the writing is just so much clearer and focused, and almost cinematic in a lot of ways, like meaning they really have some strong writing. Like it's easy for a fantasy game like this to feel cheesy, and honestly none of it in well, maybe Saint 14 when they make him a big O for a second, but all of the writing so far in the Season of Lost I felt is really clear and strong, so I can't wait to see
it's really good.
More of it.
Yeah,
it's okay to
gets
be
me
a big
excited
for a second. It's fun.
Yeah, very cool. After what else post that storyline? That was it, right? For the
that was most of it, and then
that was this week. Yeah.
Then we got into Season of Lost. So I think Teft is a question of, do we talk about Season of the Lost, or are you doing that next week? Or
no, we should definitely talk about Season of Lost.
Void 3.0 to talk about,
we got
though, which you may I don't know. You may want to talk about Void 3.0 before you get into Season of the Lost.
No, let's talk Season of Lost, because like that's where we're at here. So like, they have a new they're following the same formula that they've been doing this year, where you have a new activity and you go and collect a new thing that you apply to, what's it called, the
astral
alignment.
Astral alignment thing, where you start
I
getting
keep
those
saying
perks.
Projection. That's a different thing.
Astral
I
projection.
keep saying anal.
Briar's like, any gamers want to do the anal alignment? anyone.
So really cool thing that they got going on here. However, it seems to be pretty bugged. The first time I loaded in,
there are a lot of bugs.
The session was broken. The ball wouldn't spawn, and I didn't know if there was supposed to be a ball because I just loaded in. I didn't see the cutscene before.
You
whatever.
Spawn your ball for the anal alignment.
Yeah, the anal alignment was busted, and I was there. People were in and out leaving, and I was like, I stayed there for 10 minutes. I was like, okay, this is broken. We just kill these guys. Nothing happens.
Yeah, that happened.
It was bugged for a couple days, but I think they finally fixed it.
Did they?
I know they had already fixed some of it the second day. Like I can tell you back to back, I had played it and it was improved the second day.
I will say there's a lot of known bugs, so we can go through those at the end. Bugs, because there's a list.
Obviously.
What do you think of the activity?
Yeah, I think the activity actually is cool. I got into a session where it worked. I like going back to the Dreaming City and being so in awe of what a gorgeous environment. Because honestly, I haven't been back to the Dreaming City for like a year.
Such an upgrade there.
The skybox is beautiful, and I enjoy going through the blind well. That they use the blind well to connect us to this different place that we go.
I was so scared when they said
you were like, "Oh God, it's the blind well."
I was definitely nervous when they said blind well. I was like, blind well again? Nah. But instead, it was like part of the activity. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, you
fine.
go on like a journey through different things and you access it.
Yeah, I was a little worried at first it might feel recycled because it's Dreaming City and the blind well. But no, I mean, it's a new area for the main part of the activity. And what I liked most about it is that it's 6 players. And unlike we've seen in the last couple activities, especially Override, is that there's something for everybody to do. And it feels raid-like. It partially where you're doing raid-like things without it needing to be too specific and helping each other and super clear.
Carrying balls, putting them in places.
Exactly. Yeah. So so far it seems pretty cool. How will that look week on week? Is it exactly the same thing? I hope not. But
I have a feeling it's going to be variations, Override, but we're going to see the same stuff again for sure.
Yeah.
Because
it's fun so far.
Yeah, it's cool.
My only complaint was, this is linked into the story. And then you get put like halfway into an activity and you sort of miss some of that load-in dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm trying to take me back. And then I eventually had to fill a team so we actually got what we were meant to be doing, and what the whole point of how this
super unbrand.
That's what happened to me, man.
Stepped into a war with the good ball. Yeah. Anyway, we're in the mission now. What about the war? Tell me about the war.
Yeah, I got this cool cutscene and all this stuff. And I was like jazzed up about what's happening with the season. Then they throw me in the middle of that and it's a broken session. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Yes.
What the hell's going on?
A great first impression coming right off of the big reveal, right?
Yeah.
Because you literally watch the reveal and then go directly to your platform of choice and boot up, the new season. And yeah, if you get a bug session, that probably wasn't the best.
Yeah. That's literally my only complaint, really. I enjoyed the activity. Be interesting to see how they modify it over time. It's always a bit hectic with 6 people. When you first get in, you're like, everyone does everything so quick if they've already played it. You don't really know what you're doing. You're just running around. People are already dunking all the balls. I sort of wish sometimes I want just a solo experience so I can see what's happening, what the mechanics are.
Yeah. I said the same thing, Myelin. I played it later on that day. If you're not there at, 10 a.m. Pacific time when it launches, people just start doing all this stuff and you feel like it's sort of spoiled for you if you're like a really hardcore player. I felt the same thing. I don't know how they solve that. Maybe they could give you the opportunity to load in with a team that's never done it and or match made only, so you have that opportunity to say, hey, me and my friends are going to do it. They're not going to spoil it for me. I understand though. It's an online activity.
I mean, I was excited when we went into the Shattered it's not called Shattered Realm. It's Shattered Realm. And because that wasn't match made, so you could really take your time and look around. And
that's what I did.
And
I played that single player and I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I really like that whole
I died like
thing
4 times jumping from the platforms on my block that hadn't been used in 2 years.
Dude, I used blink the entire time. It was great. And I definitely blinked over the edge a few times.
Beautiful.
It was that place was really cool because there's secrets. Like you can, after you get the first upgrade, you can go and press something which allows you to go through barriers and open chests, which is really cool.
That's cool.
And I just love that whole area. It feels very mysterious. It's like it's part of the EDZ, right? Because there's like the church and everything.
Yeah,
I really
I thought that
like
was really fascinating that they're using this like Taken realm, throne realm type of thing. That's or Ascendant realm, I should say. That was EDZ inspired. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
I was really surprised that it already had launched. I mean, to me, compared to like last season with Splicer, they sort of delayed, you know, when Expunge rolled out.
Expunge,
I'm still curious. Is this effectively the quest mission replacement for what, let's call it, Expunge was, or is there another thing coming? I think this just is going to evolve and that's it. But either way, I was like, it's here on day one. That's great because I am that type of player. I'm excited. My hype's up and I want to hop in and get a hold of these things. It wasn't the end of the world that they delayed Expunge. I felt like, why? Like either way, you're only going to have the 7 or 10 weeks of it, you know? So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so excited, Fran, to get when the new expansion comes out or the new season comes out. I'm so excited to check out all the new stuff. And like, I really want new content to do it with too. Cause as soon as they say, okay, time to go back to, you know, whatever your previously grinded activity.
I was thinking of you, bro. I wanted to ask you, how do you feel still about the gated quest? Because it's very specific that it's like, do these things next week. Basically, it seems like we'll get a new access to a new power by upgrading, you know, the artifact or whatever.
The alignment thing.
But how are you feeling these days about them? Like, hey, you just got to wait till next week to get access to that thing and then progress.
You know how when you watch a TV show on Netflix and they give you the whole season at once, and you like binge watch it, and you're like, I don't know, it's super fun to binge watch it, and then you go back to like regular TV, and you're like, wait a minute, they still release these once a week? I gotta wait a week to find out.
Gotta wait another week for Ted Lasso?
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah, I'm on the same page because I played. It's like it felt like about 2 hours worth of new stuff, you know. So like, obviously, there's new weapons, there's new loot to go, and like a new exotic to try out and all that stuff. But after I had done the story stuff, and then it was like, okay, now I'm back to doing the ritual activities. I definitely felt that. I was like, ah, man, I was excited about this new season, and it still kind of feels like I'm doing the exact same things. You know?
Yeah. What about Watts?
In
terms of
I personally like it being like this. I like the conversations that happen week to week. I like the revelations that happen, and then we all get to go, oh my God, what does that mean? And I like that with TV as well. I like having week to week shows because we're all on the same page. We're all experiencing things at the same rate. So we get to have these really interesting discussions. So yeah, I totally get the thing of like you did new stuff for a couple hours and then you're like, okay, well, what do I do now? I totally get that. But in terms of the seasons, I like the way that seasons are. And with this season, a lot of updates happen to exotics, subclasses, perks. Like there's a lot of things to mess around with. There's a Traveler's Chosen catalyst. So I've been working on that and using that. So there's a lot for me to do outside of the season with the changes that came with the season.
There's a lot of loot to collect, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of loot. Yeah, there is a lot of
lot of stasis weapons that are officially out. Like I got the hand cannons, Vespulka, whatever the crap it's called.
Vespicula or something.
Yeah, Vespicula. I got Adagio on it. Adagio and Outlaw.
Adagio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. You know?
There's also stasis armor with stasis mods now.
Yeah, there is. I saw that.
New one.
It's going to be new builds to mess around with the new stasis mods.
Okay, so that's how I was assuming it must have been that because I got a stasis mod, but I don't have stasis armor. So there's stasis armor now, right?
There is.
I just haven't gotten any yet. Not that I'm aware of.
I had one drop.
Wait, you can just
change it. I'm pretty sure to stasis.
Oh, I was going to
armor.
say, can you just change energy to it now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah, I didn't realize it until I saw a legendary drop, and I deleted the legendary, and I was like, wait, did that say stasis? And then I went back in, and I looked, and I was like, oh, stasis.
Yeah, and that's what I was wondering. Like, do you have to get a piece of stasis armor first to do this, or could I go into like my?
Yeah, you can change all of them right away.
I can just change them right away. Okay.
It resets it though. Like resets the. You have to re-put in the stuff. You know.
Oh, you'll pay.
Yeah, you pay. You gotta pay.
Nothing's free. Nothing's free.
Yeah. I was grappling with the same thing, by the way, for the weekly stuff. But I like for now in those compressed 6-7 weeks of main content, I actually think it's important that the community paces itself.
Yeah,
because it's up to you.
so.
If you want to, do it all at once, then you can, but you have to wait. You have to wait the 7 or 8 weeks till it's all out. So I get it, and it's certainly frustrating for some, but I'm digging, like Watts was saying, that coming together each week, and they're being hype each week, because that's the problem. A game like this starts to die.
Yeah,
that's a big problem, because then guess what? We're just going to hear about PvP for all those weeks. But seriously, you will hear about all the bad stuff when there's nothing good to talk about. And so
Totally, yeah,
it works out.
Yeah,
and the story is so good every week that people are definitely excited about the story, at least, where they log in and they're like, oh my god.
I think this season especially, because it has to do with the queens. Obviously, it's leading up to the Savathun, and like it's very unnerving having the Queen of Darkness just
chilling
a teleport away, just a teleport away from the tower. I'm like, that kind of, that's a little nightmare inducing.
It's really interesting, right? That we get to really know, I guess, our enemy very well before she becomes our enemy.
That's a big shift, right?
She's a frenemy right now.
Yeah, we're just like hanging out with her for now. It's very interesting.
You just walk through the teleport and you're like, oh, hey, Savathun. I'm gonna talk to Mara real quick.
Talking to Mara, you're like, can she still hear us from here?
And she's like, yep.
Oh, I killed her brother. I don't know how to approach it. Should I say I'm sorry?
Oh, that was awesome too. Seeing the crow, the crow show up and be like,
and
hey,
she's like, do I know you?
Yeah, this place looks familiar.
That was weird.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
In a good way.
I'm really happy to see that.
Remember.
The thing about Mara is she doesn't really care about Aldrin. Like, if you look at her backstory, like if she says she cares about him, she's got another plan or something like that. Like, she's been very abusive to Crow his entire life.
Damn.
So it's an interesting relationship.
Yeah. I was gonna say, in the audio dialogue that you were talking about before, where they talk about their mom and relationship, you get the sense you're like, okay, Mara just does not give an F. Like, she doesn't really like her mom that much. Doesn't seem to care that much about Aldrin. So that's Mara, though.
She wasn't a mom.
She's like, that's not my mom. That's Asana.
She basically sets it up. She's like, I made smart choices, and these people did not.
Yeah.
Okay.
These people are idiots.
You are.
Like, Crow's story, Crow's all about trying to impress his sister and trying to get his family approval.
Yeah.
And he did that through all the lore, going into the Black Garden, getting this relic, this scepter. It's all about him trying to get approval, and he's, the underperforming child of, royalty, of a queen. So it's interesting that he showed up to the first meeting back at Marasov.
Yeah.
Very cool. What else?
Very cool.
There's still slots to talk about.
Are we doing the void update?
Yeah, we might as well. Yep.
Okay. And I will.
One other thing.
Hello. Yes.
In Mara's little area, did you see the egg?
Yes.
No.
I haven't explored around there yet. I know there's probably some Easter eggs.
Is it?
Easter eggs.
You could. I just got it. An actual Easter egg. You
can look. I haven't looked into it yet, but I've looked at it. I haven't looked into it. You can look through this barred area, and it looks like an Ahamkara egg.
Oh, fascinating.
Just chilling.
Trying to get a baby ribbon
like
back.
A dragon.
Baby wish
dragon.
dragon.
I don't know why I trust her so much. That whole family just gives me
a
bad
little
vibes.
sus.
Oh, dude, I hope.
Little sus.
Yeah, there's so much like knights and almost Game of Thronesy inspired vibe going on. I hope we get now that you mentioned this Ahamkara egg, is it possible we could see a dragon-like,
Riven
thing
2.0?
It looks like
I got knights and everything else.
Did we shoot eggs with Wish Ender for that
yes.
bow?
Yeah.
The bow?
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like that. I'm pretty sure it looks like that. It's hard to get a good visual on it because you can't aim your gun, and it's sort of, you got to jump and like floof to like see it. So be interesting if it's an egg or just
cool.
an Easter egg.
It's both.
It's both. There you go. Sorry. Void.
So,
that's cool.
The TWAB.
Yes.
We're not going to read the whole TWAB. It is quite a thick TWAB. So I do recommend you going through it if you want to look at it. We are just going to hit on what is being done to the Void update. There's also a lot of interesting stuff with them talking about the Void update of what they wanted to do and all of that good stuff. Really quick, some points are that there's not going to be a new darkness subclass in Witch Queen or throughout year 5. They decided to focus on updating the light subclasses because they want to have the new subclass that comes out be fully fleshed with, elements on weapons, armor, etc.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So they're taking their time to make the new subclass fully fleshed out, and they're going to update the light ones. And we did get confirmation that the light subclasses will be updated and upgraded every 3 months. So every season from Witch Queen onwards, we're going to be getting new subclass updates.
That's a breakneck pace.
That's really cool. Yeah.
When they say new, do you think they mean like fragments and aspects, or do you think like
it's a full rework to the stasis system? Yeah.
They put the detail. I know you were streaming, Myelin, so he didn't get to see it. There's all of this in the TWAB. They detail the subclasses, so we're going to talk about that a little bit, I think.
So so let's get into it. So with stasis, you have the freezing, the shattering. That's stasis thing. With Void, we're getting some interesting things. So there's going to be 3 negative status effects that you can apply and 3 positive effects that you can gain from being with the Void. So first you have suppression. The target is knocked out of any active abilities and can't activate any abilities or movement modes. And afflicted enemy AI can't shoot their weapons. You suppress them, they just go, but don't know. Can't do
bosses?
Yeah,
I should
apply to bosses.
Kind of like
if it works on
just
champions, it's gonna be nuts.
That would be nice.
Weaken. The target takes increased damage and has their movement slowed. Enemy AI fire their weapons with decreased accuracy. They become stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Volatile. The target is afflicted with unstable void energy and will explode upon taking additional damage or on death. So that is the 3 negative status effects that you can afflict on other guardians or AI. Now for volatile. It's pretty good. I like explosions. I do like explosions. You can do all of them.
Your aspects and fragments.
There's sort of like pre-existing stuff you see under some subclasses. In
we already.
Exactly.
That's exactly what they're saying. They're leaning into things we basically are already seeing in Void today, but defining it and really
defining what it really is.
Yeah, I mean a lot of that's in Sentinel Titan. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's in it's
Void.
It's in
I mean we've got suppression.
Void Hunter too. Yeah. And then the 3 positive effects that we're going to apply to ourselves and allies is a Void Overshield, a protective barrier of Void Light which reduces damage taken. Invisibility, you vanish from sight and do not appear on enemy radar. And Devour, you feast on the energy of your foes, kills restore you to full health, grant grenade energy, and extend Devour. So those are the things that you can expect from Void.
Wait, so this is across all the classes?
That's what it sounds like.
The change that they're doing in Void 3.0, they're switching it over completely to the stasis system. Right. So you're going to have aspects, you're going to have fragments, you're going to have selecting supers. I know before people were concerned that they were going to get rid of supers. They're not getting rid of any supers. It's going to be a selectable thing that you can do. They don't want to take anything away from you that's something that defines your playstyle as a Void player. They just want to add to it or give you different ways to interact with it. So aspects and fragments for all light subclasses will be coming. Void is up first.
Within that concern, it came up today that people were like, "Oh, you just fixed Nova Warp, and now you're going to take it away." And Kevin from the team at Bungie chimed in on Twitter and was like, "Nope, it's all going to be there. So don't worry."
You're going to be able to select how you want to play it. So. Okay, so they did a little bit of a preview of some changes that they're making to some Void subclasses. So we're going to go into that. The first one is Night Stalker Hunter. So Shadow Shot Mobius Quiver, which is the multiple shooting quiver. Fire 2 volleys of 3 void arrows in a cone, which seek out enemies and spawn void anchors on impact. Shadow Shot makes tethered enemies volatile and deals increased damage to tethered targets. So you're weakening them, you're making them volatile, which means you're going to cause big explosions.
And you shoot 3 at a time that seek enemies.
It seeks. Yeah.
It's pretty
cool. It's pretty cool.
I like it.
That's pretty cool. One of the main usability pain points of the current iteration of Mobius Quiver is having to press the super input a bunch of times. So they got rid of that and made it to where you just press it twice. They seek people out. Boom. There you go. Now an aspect, so they do go into aspects as well. This one is called Stylus Executioner, and aspects are class specific. So fragments go between all classes, and aspects are the class specific ones. So this is one of Hunter's aspects. Defeating a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target grants invisibility and true sight. After performing a Stylus Execution, your next melee attack, while invisible, weakens enemies. So you're gonna go invisible and get wall hacks after shooting and defeating a guy.
After defeating a volatile enemy, is that what it was?
Volatile, weakened, or suppressed.
Right.
Yes.
So any of the void debuffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will give you invisibility. Right.
And true sight.
And true sight. Yeah.
And true sight.
Dope.
Yes. So this is kind of a twist on Middle Tree Night Stalker Flawless Execution, because with Middle Tree Night Stalker, when you're invisible, you can melee something and it will weaken them, making them take more damage. So they're kind of putting that into an aspect and adding more to it.
Yeah, and that's like they sort of illustrate that with this, you'll actually be able to loop that. So you're like tactically, you're like, okay, I'm gonna weaken this person, suppress them, whatever. You get up close melee. And if you kill them as well while they're weakened, because when you melee them, they're weakened, it loops back. You're invisible again with true sight. And so, oh man, that sounds like it could be really fun.
Yeah, it says here that they wanted to specialize, have this with you specialize in defeating debuffed enemies and exactly loop the invisibility, loop the debuff. So that's really cool.
Sounds fun.
All I'm thinking is there's going to be a lot of people that can solo dungeons now with the invisibility.
Invis weakness. Invis weakness.
All the Titan Warlocks are like, haha, I can now solo this content. Solo flawless.
Next we have Sentinel Titan. So they just go into a new melee and an aspect. So the aspect is called Overwatch. Cast a Void Empowered Barricade to grant a Void Overshield to yourself and nearby allies. The Empowered Barricade slowly regenerates the Void Overshield of allies bunkering behind it. Cool. So you're just it's gonna be another way to protect your teammates. And it says that they did want to really lean into the Sentinel fantasy of being this frontline protector of your team. So they're gonna have a lot of things that allows them to do that.
Cool.
And then they're getting a projectile melee, which is a shield toss. So you're going to be able to truly be Captain America.
That's exactly the first thing I thought of.
It's you hurl your shield towards an enemy. The shield can ricochet off enemies and surfaces, granting you a small chunk of void overshield for each enemy hit. So it seems to just soften them up. It's not like a one-shot melee. They actually, earlier on in the TWAB, they said they are trying to move away from one-shot abilities and one-shot things in general. But you're going to be honest. I would just be excited to throw a shield all the time.
Yeah, I was like, that just sounds fun. But
it just sounds fun.
Protect, like again, you can see the fantasy that they're kind of crafting into of like shielding into someone, getting close, and then you use your new glaive, mess them up, or shotgun. Like getting close to enemies is actually can be quite a challenge. And so having this overshield ability built into certain things sounds. I mean, dude, I'm going to be playing some Titan based on that.
It sounds a lot of fun. And then we have Voidwalker Warlock, who has some very interesting things. So they have Pocket Singularity, which is a projectile melee. Launch a tracking unstable ball of void energy that detonates when it nears an enemy, pushing targets away from the blast and making them volatile. And they say here that it's designed to be an anti-dive tool. So someone's running at you, you can throw it, it knocks them back. But it is possible to bop enemies up in the air and pop their volatile with a well-placed headshot. So you get to be a Scion. You get to pop
Devil May Cry.
That's true. Boop them in the air.
I wonder if it changed. Like, can you get like a team of 6 and just keep somebody in the air?
Juggling.
Well, if you kill the volatile guy, he's going to explode and kill all of the homies. So
fireworks.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Void works.
Guardian fireworks.
And then this aspect sounds incredibly fun. It's called Child of the Old Gods. Cast your Rift to summon a sentient black hole which hovers at your side, waiting for a target. It will launch itself at enemies, then begin siphoning their energy and weakening them, refunding their life force back to you as either grenade and melee energy if you're using Healing Rift, or health if you're using Empowering Rift. Defeating enemies who are being siphoned by the child will refund some Rift energy. I love that they call it that.
Wow.
Void
child.
My
The
void
child.
child.
The black hole child.
That sounds interesting.
It sounds like it's yeah. You have a void black hole buddy who seeks things out and just siphons energy
It's
from
just going to
them,
infect
weakening them too.
enemies until they're dead.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's pretty crazy.
Nice.
So that's the preview of it. I am so excited for this because it was very exciting where every season we were getting new aspects and new fragments to change how we play stasis. And we're going to have that experience eventually with all of the light subclasses.
Yeah. Really cool. Can't wait to see what
Very
they're going to do
excited.
with the
next year's going to be exciting.
The Void
they also
one.
know. Yes.
The Void one's the first one that comes out, right? With Witch Queen? Yeah.
Witch Queen
So-
is the first. Yep.
Yeah, Witch Queen gets Void update initially, and I'm very excited about seeing that.
Yeah. And they also mentioned that there was a thread from Joe on Twitter, and he said that this allows us to change exotics as well with how you play with the new Void subclass. It's going to allow them to really dial in some exotics.
Because everyone technically has aspect to a foundational ability set. Is that what they mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, oh no, like Hunter's thing is sort of invisibility. So if everyone gets invisibility, like how do they make up for that? But it's interesting how the aspects dial into the class.
Yeah.
To really make that their thing. And then the fragments have like a base level, right, of abilities.
See, I'm okay
the
with other
unlocks.
classes getting invisibility if we get Devour
Yeah.
as a
right?
hunter.
Yeah.
True.
Devour is so good.
I'm on board.
I'll take it. That's okay.
I'm a little salty over Blink, but like, hey, if I get Devour, maybe we get Blink. Yeah, maybe it's a thing that you just check now with the new system. I'd love it. Does that mean
Maybe
Titans
it's a
could
thing.
Blink too? Oh God.
Invisible, blinking, devour Titans. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man.
With shoulder charge.
I have to say, because we've been all warlocks because of a certain thing that happened over the summer, I feel like I've been just cheating, playing as a Devour warlock, never dying, because I just happen to shoot enemies and to kill them, and then suddenly my health is back. And anyways, that's what's going on.
Blade, you can also tank a lot because you can just dive. You can dive into cover now. It doesn't just go straight down, and you get your health back.
Yeah, I gotta try that. I haven't tried that sideways.
I've
dive
only been playing Bottom Tree Dawnblade, and
I've only been playing Devour.
Same.
It's fun.
It's only been Devour for me. Actually, no, I had to be Stormcaller for the strike, which I was old Chaos Beam.
Chaos Beam.
Oh yeah.
It's all great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. All of them have ranged melee as well, right? Under Void.
Mm.
Yeah,
Captain
they're
America
adding
shields. Everyone had
shield.
ranged melee, which was,
The pocket
That's awesome,
singularity, where you get to just throw and boop people.
Mm-hmm.
That whole child thing kind of creeps me out.
I know, Child of the Gods. I'm like,
Void Child
Cool
sounds.
name for it too.
Yikes.
so you know what I'm
Child
thinking?
of the
We
Gods.
get Child of the Gods, so you have a little baby black hole,
Yoda.
and then you have
Yoda,
a
yeah.
warlock on your team that gives you Arc Buddy, and then you use No Time to Explain, and now you have
You
three
got-
buddies.
You got the Tri Buddy experience.
I assume it works. Why not? Why would it not work?
Why wouldn't it work?
Why wouldn't?
Someone turns a corner. There's an arc buddy. There's a time loss buddy.
Yeah.
There's a play like, okay. Then.
Is it black
like,
hole
all right.
void that sucks under their face and then like time buddies, arc buddies? It's beautiful.
Sounds crazy.
Sounds dope.
Now normally we don't go through known issues, but there are quite a few known issues, so I think it might be worth going through them so people know what they know is an issue, because there's a lot of bugs. So I'm just going to run through them super fast. Some players on PC are unable to launch the game due to a missing unknown file.
Yikes.
Bummer.
Good luck. In Mission Cocoon, players on PC may experience crashes. Opening the armor synthesis screen with a piece of faction armor, Dead Orbit, Future War Court, or New Monarchy, and armor or ornaments will crash your game. They're not in the game anymore. Take them off. Trials of Osiris gear may not show up correctly when previewing the gear on the detail screen. In the Shattered Realm activity, players may not be teleported even when the screen is fully white. Players should continue walking forward until they are teleported.
Walk into the
Keep
light.
walking forward.
Keep going.
Walk towards the light.
Players who have already acquired most or all of the existing prophecy rewards are unable to acquire the newly reprised Trials of the Mind. Now, it's worth noting, they did fix this. It is fixed. I've gotten a bunch of weapons. It's fixed now. So you're good.
Have you got it?
I got
Have you got the
many
night
things.
weapon?
Yeah.
Really?
Are you able to repeat it?
Yes.
Okay, so you can farm it. Nice.
You can just farm it. You can farm it on a loop.
That's cool.
Just farm.
Love it.
And the first encounter is the hand cannon. So there you go. Get a checkpoint.
I know what I'm doing later today.
Yup.
We're investigating issues relating to multiple steps of the Wayfinder's voyage quest not completing as intended. Players stuck on a step, particularly step 4, should abandon and reacquire the quest to continue the progress. The barriers surrounding the Scorch Cannons in the Fallen Walker public event repel anything near them, preventing heroic completions of the event.
Wow.
In the Astral Alignment activity, there can be an extensive delay between opening the final chest and receiving the activity rewards. Don't leave. You'll get it eventually.
Yep.
It's very delayed. In the Astral Alignment activity, joining an encounter in progress will block players from completing the encounter.
No kidding.
Couldn't tell.
They just updated on that too, saying players who become blocked in the battery portion of that need to return to orbit, and then to reduce those blocks, we've removed the option for those players to join. So they're working on it.
Cool.
Okay, that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
The Sweet Spot Triumph is not progressing when killing Vex Wyverns with precision damage. This is for the new Deadeye title, so you can't do that yet.
Dang Wyverns.
Progression towards the Tracing the Stars quest doesn't count if players pick up Atlas SKUs before they pick up the quest, or if they pick up SKUs on another character.
Did that. It's okay.
The Ascendant Ballast Season Challenge isn't properly tracking when players pick up wayfinding runes in the Shattered Realm. Players are encouraged to pick up the Water Wheel rune first so they can complete the weekly challenge this week. Players affected by this issue will have to wait until week 2 this season to complete the challenge. It's not the end of the world, but bad. Kind of. The Lucidity pre-order emblem from the Witch Queen DLC is not showing up in collections. Some players are blocked from entering the door in Vault of Glass opening encounter. Players who leave their fire team, return to orbit, and rejoin can receive their awards and progress through the rest of the raid. It's pretty funny. Just randomly, it does not let you in. You just get chosen,
silly.
And it says, no, you're not allowed.
I would kick those people out permanently. You've been selected by a higher power.
Savathun has corrupted you. I'm asking you to leave.
Very suspect.
Knights in the Prophecy Dungeon are incorrectly dropping light and dark motes based on the player's location. I feel like this has always happened, but maybe it's worse. The Withering Heat artifact mod has no description text. When this mod is equipped, causing damage with a solar ability weakens champions for a short duration. The Fire and Ice artifact mod only spawns 1 solar and stasis well. The No Backup Plans exotic Titan gauntlets cannot take shaders. The Lucky Pants exotic Hunter leg armor elemental affinity cannot be changed. The Solstice 2021 Illuminous Grass Hunter Arms Ornament is unavailable to equip. A player's Bungie Friends list doesn't update automatically when accepting Bungie friend requests, and when attempting to import friends from another platforms to Bungie Friends, some platforms display an error.
And that's a perfect dovetail into the fact that crossplay is now happening, and
crossplay is happening.
It's badass. I looked and I saw people. It's
really cool.
Yeah, I saw people on
really
on
cool.
PC while I was on PS5 and Xbox, and yeah.
I'm playing with people that I haven't played with in a long time, and it's just I look at the people where I'm playing with, and it's like got someone on Xbox, someone here on PlayStation. It's really really great.
I queued into a control match, and like half of them were PlayStation, half of them were Xbox, and I was on Xbox. I was like, this is so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bit of joining issues, but once they iron all those things out, it'll be a lot easier.
Yeah.
Like you join codes and how you join people, and you have to send friend requests and invites and stuff like that. It's a bit messy at the moment, but I'm sure that will all get ironed out.
Yeah,
totally.
In a way, it's nice that it launched well before Witch Queen at this point. So by then it'll be, I think, very very smooth.
Yep. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm very pleased. Cool.
Trials?
That's
Oh,
right.
right.
Trials.
There's a massive
Should
Trials
sum
update.
up Trials. Yeah,
And that's everything. Nothing
it's
else to
kind
talk
of
about.
big.
There is a
forgot.
big Trials
It's not small.
revamp. So we're just gonna go. We're not gonna go over the goals. If you want to know the goals, check out the post. But I'll go over things quickly. I've read it a couple of times, so hopefully I can do this somewhat effectively. So they're going to change the way scheduling works. There's not going to be any trials in week 1 or before a raid world first, and there's going to be no trials during Iron Banner. So the first trials will return on September 10th.
Yeah,
that's an interesting change. No trials during Iron Banner is pretty. I don't know if I love that idea or not, but it makes a lot of sense, right?
It's a bold move, Cotton. We'll see how
it sure is.
Yeah. They just say that they don't think that having limited time PvP events overlapping is healthy for either game mode.
So I completely agree, and I think it is an issue. What they need to do though is revamp Iron Banner to not feel like Iron Banner right now and be more like a new reward system that, like, you know, they're already doing that with Trials. They need to do something like that for Iron Banner as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Trials is returning on September 10th. That's when you can get into it.
Cool.
They're also changing a couple things with how you access it. So this is very exciting for a lot of people. So they're changing the Trials access quest to use lifetime valor ranks and kills. They're also changing the way that queuing and matchmaking works because they want to allow more players to try out the mode even without a fire team. So you can now enter the playlist solo or with a friend, and matchmaking will find people for you. They're also going to be trying out freelance trials, which there's more details on that. Yeah, no, it's huge.
Oh,
and
freelance trials, nice.
Yeah.
This
They said they're going to try it. And
try it out in the labs,
that
right?
they can that the playlist will not be too thin. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm like, hey, I'll dip into a trials round. Like maybe.
Yeah, and this goes into I know some people might see that and go, why would I do that? I'm just gonna get stomped constantly. But when we talk about the revamped reward system, you may have a change of heart.
Maybe.
Trials of Osiris now requires the annual season pass, the annual expansion to play, which we talked about. So you will need Beyond Light now, and you need Witch Queen, obviously, when that comes out. They're changing the activity rule set. So round time is reduced to 90 seconds. It was previously at 120 seconds. Emotes stay in first-person camera, and swords cannot be equipped unless you have ammo. This is for both elimination and survival. And special and heavy ammo no longer carry over between rounds. So they want to stop the snowballing of that. Rewards and reputation. This is a big one, which gets me really excited to just play Trials. So there's no more tokens. They're completely gone. And Saint has a pretty similar upgrade reward path to Vanguard and Crucible now. So reputation is gained for this ranking up your Trials rank. It's gained at match complete based on the number of rounds won on your ticket. So tickets are going to track up to 20 round wins. So this obviously, it would be really bad if you got XP to level up before the end of the match, because then people would leave. But now you want to try and win as many rounds as you can and complete the match so that you level up as fast as you can.
Yeah, if you want them to count, you got to complete the match.
Yeah. Emphasizing winning individual rounds for the core rewards gives every player more achievable goals. Since you don't have to win full matches to get rewards, you always have a reason to keep trying. Ranking up gives you a Trials engram, which they do go into details of what that's going to have in it later. And powerful Trials engrams show up every 3 rank ups before your first reset of the season. And it shows on the graphic, it's got this Trials sniper in there and the Trials hand cannon, which is available to grab leveling up. They're also changing passages. So passages no longer track losses. It's either flawless or it's not. And this is going to allow you to keep playing even when you've lost. You don't have to reset. You can just keep playing on the same card. No need to reset. It's account wide and they're a lot cheaper.
Cool.
So across the board, that's great. You just pick up one passage and you just keep playing. You win rounds and you rank up. Each week, there's going to be 2 pinnacle challenges for Trials. Win 7 matches total on a given weekend or win 50 rounds. And bonus progression based on the number of wins on your card. They've completely gotten rid of the 3, 5, and 7 win challenges. Once you max out the reputation, you can reset and claim an Ascendant Shard or an Exotic Engram, just like the other reputations. And additionally, because they want to keep people going deeper into the cards, when you win on a 7-win card, there's a chance for an extra Trials engram, Masterworking Materials, and high stat Trials armor to drop.
Cool.
It's very cool. The Lighthouse is remaining completely the same, so they're still going to have a reason to go flawless for Adept loot and specific cosmetics and all of that good stuff, if you so wish to. Now, the Trials engram, it's going to decrypt to a random selection of current armor and non-adept weapons, and you do not have to have unlocked this armor or weapon to have the Trials engram drop it. You can also focus your engrams at Saint 14 to decrypt into a specific item that you've already received. And if you've gone flawless, you can focus additional drops for the weekly adept weapon, but it's going to be expensive.
I love the fact that they're allowing you to target your loot.
Yes.
You're focusing. That's so nice.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to, fine, you get whatever. But like, if you want to specifically go for that fusion rifle or something, or hand cannon, it's great. You can do it.
Yeah, this is going to be a way for you. Say if you just play solo and you want to get Trials rewards, you can just hop in, match with people, try and win as many rounds as you can, rank up, and then you get to essentially just choose the loot that you want from Trials. So
yeah,
that's so nice.
Yeah, it opens up 2 mindsets for playing Trials. Like if you don't want to get a team together and you just want to jump in for, let's say you got time for 1 match, like if someone says, hey, you want to play some Trials, you're thinking, well, this is at least an hour because we're gonna have to play however many games. If we go flawless, 7 games, like how much time are we talking about to be able to do a whole card that you can't just suddenly bail on? Well, if you're the type of player that only has time for a match or 2, perfect. You can jump in either with a buddy or by yourself and just try it out. Or
work on leveling up, getting some rewards.
Yeah.
This is so much better because before it was, say if you're someone who can reach 3 wins pretty comfortably, but 5 is tough, you have to keep resetting to get to 5. And that whole time after you've gotten that 3rd win reward, you're getting nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely zero.
Such an issue. Yeah.
That's what exactly. They were just like, there's just 2 populations. There's people that only are just trying to get to 3. They you could argue probably they don't even want to be there. There's like, I just want my reward and I'm out. And then the super tryhards. And like, I agree. It's been a huge issue. So pretty excited to see. And, it's going to need a lot of tuning, I think. But the fact that it's more open, just the fact that I can jump into Trials without being a huge chore. I feel like, although raids, I do understand the matchmaking situation and all that. Like I still want to move in that direction where I can get into a raid without it being so difficult.
Yep.
So this is a really nice move for Trials and might bring me back to PvP more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be like, I'll jump in Trials. I want to level up. I want to get my reward right there. Or I want to do my pinnacle challenge. I'll just go play some Trials. I don't need to go or I don't want to go flawless. I'm just going to chill and rank up, get some loot.
This 100% makes me think, oh, I'll probably jump into Trials from time to time over the weekends to check it out, to see. Super low effort. I can just be a random queuing person to see how it feels, and might have some good games, might have some crap games. Cool, it's fine.
And then the whole system needs buy-in. It will work if all the people like us right now going, I'll give it a shot. Because once you get enough people giving it a shot, the player population is large enough that you probably will have a good time. And I think that's what they're trying to do. Just remove as many barriers, give heaps of loots, make it as easy to get into the playlist. Because if they can bump that population up, then you will have a good time. But if people don't buy into it,
or if you get all your loot out of it the first 3 weeks and then you never go back.
Yep.
Yeah.
I wonder if all of this is diluting Trials so much that they wouldn't have been better off putting all this time and work into the Crucible as a whole instead of
It's a good question. It's a good question.
That's assuming it's reductive.
Yeah.
You assume it takes away from all, like, we don't know what they're doing yet on that side and how big the team may be or whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of these changes lose the initial flavor of Trials that made it so enticing back in year 1 of Destiny, where it did feel like a very competitive place to be. And now it feels like you can just go in there. You don't even have to have a team, and you can just grind until you get the loot you want, kind of just like any other game mode in Destiny.
It depends on how it plays, though, right? Does it still feel like, because elimination, how often do you actually hop in? It's not like there's targeted rewards in elimination. And so
That's
for
true.
them to put you into it and like, meaning elimination is a different experience and it is a little sweatier. So hopefully it still retains that feel, I'm not saying I'm like, it's perfect, but like, I don't play Trials anymore unless it's a super rare event. Like some of the best players that I have ever played with say, "Hey, do you want to just play a few?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll
hop in this your backpack."
But it's
I do.
and I played every weekend for like 15 hours sometimes.
Same
in
as
the past, but those days are long gone, and so I do think it's a move in the right direction.
Well, there's a couple things that they're doing that might freshen things up depending on how they go. So they're doing Trials Labs, and if any of you guys were around who are listening, were around for Crucible Labs, it was thinking a separate mode, a separate mode that they were doing to test new things for the Crucible. So they're doing it for Trials, and they have 3 labs planned for season 15. So they're going to be trying out a capture elimination hybrid. So one capture point is going to activate 30 seconds after each round starts with an extended capture timer. The capture location changes each round, as do the spawn locations. Capturing it wins the round, or you can just eliminate the other team. And this is very similar to like Salvage in D1, where it was, capture points were just kind of rotated around and they were random and you could capture them or you could kill everyone. I think I might really like this one.
This one's going to keep the campers away, right? Because you have to go capture that.
Yep.
Forced. Yeah, you can't just sit back and get your chaos reach. You have to move or you're going to lose. Yeah. So I think I might really dig this one. They're also going to be trying out Trials Freelance, which is pure solo queue. Solo queue versus solo queue. Everyone is solo. And they said that they think this is a good change in a vacuum, but they aren't sure if splitting Trials into 2 matchmaking pools will deliver low matchmaking times and high quality play for both.
Especially with matchmaking hitting regular Trials, right? It's like, if all the solo queuers just go to the Freelance, then is there going to be enough population change in Trials to really make a difference?
Yeah, will there be enough solo queuers is the main question.
Yeah, I'm glad they're trying it out the gate, though.
Or will there's so many solo queuers get pulled by the Freelance that they're all gone from the main Trials playlist?
Well, you see, but there's a lot of people who, like, you looked at elimination, and when they did matchmaker for that, like, some people felt like it was easier to go against teams solo queuing versus going against solo queue, because solo queue enacted like pretty heavy SBMM, so everyone was like on this super equal playing field, and it was like always super close matches. So question, don't know how ultimately it's going to land with Trials.
Yeah, I'm glad they're answering it now instead of it being a question, and then we're like, well, I wish they'd try it. So I always say that. I'm like, well, I wish you'd try it, and then like matchmaking with rating, like so on. If it doesn't work, cool, then cancel it and move on. But
it's really cool that they're saying, hey, prove us wrong that it doesn't, that it's not bad or whatever. Matchmaking sucks. Prove it.
They're also going to have a week of no intro quest. So one weekend, all players can go and play Trials and experience it. So you don't need to have grinded a bunch of Crucible to gain access to it. You're just going to be able to go in. Yeah. They don't have any dates for these modes, but they do say that they will generally take over the entire mode for the weekend so they can get as many players testing it as possible. I'm kind of excited about that. I really like the idea of the hybrid of the capture elimination.
I like that too.
I think that's going to be fun.
It's going to be super fun.
Yeah, we just need more mode. That's where, I know PvP is still the not defined thing, as we talked about earlier, but we need new modes. We need things to do beyond just new maps. And feels like they're testing just a few of these things within Trials for now. And can't wait to see more.
Yeah, and to Briar's point, I don't think you're wrong, Briar. Like, there could have been this scenario of what if they put that energy towards the Crucible, but there's also another possibility that they are doing that at the same time, and they're just showing us the trial stuff that they're doing. Maybe they have a Crucible thing that's coming with Witch Queen that's going to change things up. That's possible too.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, so there were a couple other things in the TWAB, like they're going to be shifting super energy regeneration So they're going to change it to where you have to participate in combat versus waiting. They also said they're looking at changing special ammo, so it's a more consistent rate that you get special ammo. So yeah, there's a lot of things.
Good stuff.
Boy, they have been fucking with special ammo for 7 goddamn years.
It's a hard thing to balance. All these like
Sure
one-shot freaking weapons. It's just.
I
do not envy them.
Did you guys get a chance? Speaking of special weapons, did you guys get a chance to try out rapid fire fusions in the Crucible?
Yeah, they're great.
I know
fun.
they are great.
They're freaking fun.
I was using my null composure.
Yeah, they're so fast. You just like running around.
It also fires an insane. I mean, like, I didn't think I was going to notice the 9 bolts, but like, it's a lot. It's like,
yeah, it's really cool. It's kind of given us a completely different way of playing with fusion rifles that we haven't had before. Fusion rifles have always been kind of like the high impact play style where you stay back and you pre-charge, and this is just running and gunning and vooping people. It's great.
yeah, if someone's chasing you and they're not within shotgun range, like, you definitely have the upper hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
yeah,
nice.
they're really fun.
Yep.
How about those what these clips I'm seeing of hunters with the lucky pants and last word doing damage?
Oh yeah, so it's a movie of the week in this week at Bungie. Actually, is a bunch of people fighting Templar. They're using last word and lucky pants, and they're killing the Templar with it. It does insane damage with lucky pants.
Because the lucky pants has that new intrinsic perk, right? It has an intrinsic perk on it that
it got changed. Yeah.
When your weapon is stowed and it's drawn, stacks damage or something like that.
Every shot that hits
next
stacks another
increases, right?
Yeah, each bullet that fires increases damage for a short amount of time, and it stacks.
Oh my god!
So naturally, on last word,
right?
Yep.
Just
6-digit numbers of damage with the last word.
Yep.
I don't understand what happens when you run out of bullets. Like when you reload, doesn't the or do you not run out of bullets? What happens?
Infinite ammo.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
ammo.
been wild to get used to, is the infinite ammo. Like
That's awesome. That is a great change.
yeah, I was
perfect for a season with sidearms.
Yep,
Just going to town.
just soloing a few activities. I was like, man, it's so nice to know that I'm not going to just run out of ammo at some point. I'll always
The one
have
thing I
primary.
did notice about it though is that remember how it used to be that if you ran out of all your ammo,
Yeah, you get it all back.
they would just like, okay, here's some ammo. They would just like teleport ammo into your backpack, right? And now you have a little bit of special ammo and a little bit of regular ammo. Now you never are completely out of ammo. So if you are just completely special ammo starved, too bad.
Special ammo is also dropping more often because primary isn't dropping.
I noticed that actually.
Yeah.
It felt much better.
Yeah.
Have you seen that perk that allows you to shoot ammo and you pick it up?
Yeah, shoot
Yeah,
the
shoot
loot.
the loot.
It's great. And it
Shoot the loot.
refills your the weapon.
Is it a mod?
No,
No,
it's
it's a
a perk on the new hand cannon for sure. I don't know if it's on other things. I think it's on a bow as well. But you can shoot it and it just refills your special ammo weapon and it reloads it.
Yeah. That's a throwback to D1 vanilla, right? Shoot the loot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoot the loot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I ran into that against the champion at the end of the story mission or the story part. Where I had used all of my divinity ammo and it was just out of special ammo. So all I had was a super and a hand cannon. And I'm just like, this just isn't going to work, right? I'm not going to be able to. So I had to leave the fight. And actually, I was able to find a couple of scions like hanging out on a cliff and shoot them. But you have to, it's one of those like, if you leave the area for like 5 seconds, it teleports you back in. So I had to like race to try and get the ammo.
It would probably be nice in like GMs, right? Because you happen to play super carefully.
Yeah.
So then you can just be like, oh, I'll just shoot this from behind my wall and get some ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't run into an ammo situation where there's just no special ammo.
Yes.
Cool. Anything else?
Things are pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think we covered. I'm sure there's something
So
that
much
we're
more, I'm
missing,
sure.
but it's most of what we've heard. It's been kind of over information over.
It is a bit information overload. I am very excited to see the story unfold. Like the most I've been excited for the entire year, honestly, because we're finally seeing the freaking queens and like doing the things. Like Very cool.
Yeah, I expected a letdown on that front after last season because I was so into what was happening. But this season is pretty damn interesting. Like, I am way into it.
Yeah,
and
super interesting.
Knowing that the witch cream is coming right up too, like after this season, so we're gonna lead right into that. It's almost like watching Titanic, right? It's like this is gonna go bad. It's just about how, like, and who gets painted like a French girl, And
I love that, this season it took off right from last season, which there was no break. It was just a complete continuation. It was great.
Cohesive.
Yeah.
Cohesive.
Yeah, very cool.
Continuation of the story.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks is I have to be a warlock for 6 months.
Yeah.
So,
You'll be all right.
We have figured out that you are allowed to get armor on your hunter. But you're not allowed to take liberties with it.
What do you mean by that?
Who made these rules?
Well, you don't want to. So we have to be warlock main.
Just now.
We've talked about it. Well, I've talked about it. I stream, so I talk.
So you've made these rules, is what you're saying?
No, I talked to the people of the community, the people who have donated, the people who got us to be warlocks in the first place.
It sounds like people are bending some rules. This is what it sounds like.
No, we're not.
First of all, the people who got us to be warlocks in the first place do not have our best interests at heart.
Like, what just had a town meeting and you guys just didn't show up for the court hearing?
Yeah.
So,
And they're like, well, I guess we can bend the rules here. Yeah.
Mains. It was specifically warlock mains. And I've said that I have no interest in taking liberties and being like, I'm going to play 28 hours of warlock and 27 of hunter. You are allowed to get the armor so you do not miss out on transmog armor for your hunter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duh, Briar.
All right, transmog. Got it. That still
Translock.
You barely have to play. You get umbral engrams on your warlock,
unlock the,
and then you just go turn them in, and then you get the armor and you log off.
No, I'm calculating it right now, and I'm also calculating it with how much time like we usually spend on other characters in the past seasons.
You have 6 months to do this, by the way. Yeah.
I normally never play any character.
Not a challenge.
Well, that's what I'm saying, Watts. And therefore, if it was like that, then you kind of, maining a character means that the other characters get hardly any other time, like if any.
Yeah, I get on a hunter and turn in umbral engrams.
Okay, there it is.
Tef seems very
I'm embarrassed to say this, but I had to, before I could play the DLC or before I could play the new season, I had to play the first mission of the last DLC that came out a year ago.
Be online.
I did inspect Briar. I inspected Briar. I saw him online. I was like, let's inspect Briar. He was wearing blue armor. Blue armor looking great.
Every blue drop I get right now is a light upgrade.
Amazing.
That's great.
Oh, man. I can't wait. When Witch Queen comes out, I'm going to be just like drunk on Devour. I won't know anything about hunters anymore. It's so weird. Be like, what happened? What happened to me? We got time for a few questions, Briar. Is there some top tier questions that you can cherry pick?
Tier.
They're so top tier.
I'm sure there's a lot of questions. If you guys took, obviously this week is kind of nuts. If there's a question that you really wanted to ask, feel free to just ask it again next week when we put up the questions.
And if it sucks, we're going to ignore it. But, feel free to ask.
It's a lot to pack in this show.
Briar's currently hunting. We can't see him because, he's been cooked.
He's being a hunter of questions? Is that what I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I don't know about that.
Yes, he is.
Well, he's breaking the rules.
Mad Geek says, there's no doubt the DCP crew has secrets, and he's asking for us to spill the beans each individually. So I'm going to go down the list. Fran, what's your secret to having perfect hair?
Oh, I was like, what are the secrets?
You just got to tell a secret? What the
secret.
Bull semen. Yeah.
Nice.
Really good one.
Straight from the source.
That's what I use for conditioner in my beard as well.
There you go.
Fresh. He gets it fresh. Mine's bottled up.
Right from the tap.
Pasteurized.
Yeah, bull semen on tap.
Myelin, what's your secret to having a great beard?
What you do is you lock yourself in your office, you become a full-time streamer, and you never have to leave your house, and so you don't really care what you look like, and then all of a sudden, hobo beard.
It's too much sun
up.
is bad for the beard, I think is what he's saying. And then,
yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any beard SPF 50 that you can apply?
Oh,
sunblock.
Some sunblock for the
BS,
beard lock?
Conditioner with SPF 50 in it.
Yeah. What Briar and I use is very reflective.
The bull semen? It's got SPF 50?
Yeah. It's like 100.
It's a protein.
It kind of hardens.
Reapply every hour. It hardens.
Have you ever seen something about
It's
Mary?
a cocoon.
Oh, I'm just getting flashbacks to something about Mary.
Briar, what's your secret to having a perfect beer? If you work your ass off all day, that first beer that you have after that hard day's work is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
That is actually
nothing like an end of days work beer. Yep.
Yeah.
Drink it on the porch if you can too, if it's warm enough out.
That is the best place for it. Tefty, what's the secret to creating a perfect tune?
Lots and lots of synthesizers. Too many, actually. Too many.
Watts, what's the secret to wiping out opponents?
Being crazy and going, I'm just gonna run in there and see what happens, and you're probably gonna die, but maybe you make a bunch of people explode. And with Bottom Tree Dawnblade, that's possible. You throw a grenade, you shoot him, and it just goes pew, pew, pew. It's very fun.
I wish I was like
it go?
Watts.
How does it go?
I play Top Tree Void Hunter because I live for the perfect tether. You know, where you get the perfect tether and you get so many people and it explodes them all. It's kind of a similar thing with Bottom Tree Dawnblade. You throw a grenade on a capture point and you just plink one of them and they explode. 5 kills. It's great.
Quaid6 says, in honor of Myelin joining the DCP crew, is there any Australian lore or characters mentioned anywhere in Destiny?
Tarabar. Tarabar's a Tasmanian devil, right? Or Tasmanian tiger. Tasmanian devil? It looks like it's its jaw. Have you ever looked at Tarabar?
Yeah, but I didn't realize it was a
guy?
Do you not
Tasmanian.
understand? Tarabar's... Oh,
Do you not understand?
do you not understand?
I don't.
Are you not entertained?
He's living. He's living right now.
Not understand. I got me all Tarabar exotic meaning. I'm pretty sure it's a Tasmanian devil. Or tiger. Oh, whatever. That's a law. That's an Australian
We'll
one.
go with
Something
Aussie
in
one.
Tasmania,
I'm
apparently.
sold.
It's in the shape of the jaw. If you look at Tarabar.
Okay.
No, he's right.
Oh, Aboriginal
the
names
Aboriginal
of the
names?
animals. A European called Tasmanian devils. Yeah. Destiny's name for the gun you didn't
Wow.
realize you don't have. Tarabar's a very exotic.
So
yeah.
it's actually Tasmania, though. I feel like you're kind of stretching the truth on this one.
It's
That's
part of
called for
Australia.
No, Tasmanian devils.
It's not
Yeah.
mainland, though. It's not mainland.
Aboriginal
Oh,
names. Aboriginal.
That's like-
Aborigines. Definitely no.
Exactly. That's like Hawaii for us. There's a whole. It's not really America.
It's Hawaii.
You know? I mean,
I
it
tell
is,
you right
it
now.
isn't, right?
Wow.
You don't want to mess.
They don't-
You don't want to
Fran,
mess
do
with
you have, like,
Tasmanians.
Stone to
That will-
against
that will hurt you.
Hawaiians?
They were.
France confusing
No.
Samoans with Aborigines?
No.
Oh my God.
Never mind.
Oh, Fran.
I have to
It's
get
an, it's
HR
a
back
it was a
in here.
joke about not a great joke. It's a political issue. Well, no, I didn't know if it's like that over there.
No.
Anyway.
Tasmania is very much Australia, part of Australia. It's that little bit at the bottom. It's that little bit at the bottom. I won't make fun of Tasmanians any more than that, but we have our own jokes about Tasmanians. I don't know if there's anything else, but the Tasmanian devil's great. There you go.
All right, I
a good
never
one.
knew that.
They are cool.
Cool.
Last question of the night. MTL Rocker says, is Destiny saved again?
Nah, dead game. Really dead.
20 million new players means I don't know that it needed saving.
Everything needs saving.
Yeah?
Yeah. Dead game.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll tell you what though, that show was full on Bungie hype. I mean, nobody is able to hype me up with content like
They
that.
are masters
Nobody does
of hype
better than
machines. It's every time it's a masterclass in marketing. Just incredible.
When I saw those Hive ghosts rising up from the water, and then you just see a freaking a knight throw a sentinel shield, I was like, "What is
well, you hear
going
the noise.
on?
You hear the noise, and then you see the colors in the mist and the fog, and I was like, "Is it happening?"
I mean, that's something we've been hoping for forever, right?
Yeah.
Dark Guardians.
Yeah.
This is crazy. It's crazy.
I don't know. After that thing was done, I was watching it down in the living room, and my son was watching it up in his bedroom. I walked upstairs and we high-fived.
That's super cool.
There was so many things in that reveal. You couldn't, like, I was trying to make notes, but I was missing every 10 seconds there was an announcement.
So fast, right?
I had to go back and rewatch it all.
Yep.
Yeah. It was rapid fire.
It was rapid fire. Also loved the talk between Luke and Jason, just talking about game dev and how they got into it and what they're wanting to create. It was really cool.
Yeah, really cool. Yep. Well, that was a lot of fun talking about what's happening in the future of Destiny.
A lot of news.
Always amazing when we have huge pieces of info to dig our teeth into and just chomp. It's really good stuff. So thank you very much, everyone, for going along the journey with us. Fran, where can people find you out and about in the world doing things?
Right here on Twitch is the best place. So if you haven't dropped a follow yet, FM3 _ at the end, right here on Twitch. Would appreciate it.
Awesome. And Myelin, thank you very much for joining our ragtag band of craziness.
You're gonna hate us. I give it 2 weeks.
It's all downhill from here, right? I showed up to my first shift with a suit, and it's all downhill from here. And
where can people find you?
Myelin Games, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube.
Awesome. And also you have another podcast as well.
Destiny Down Under podcast with Log Power Slave. There is nothing changing about that. I still can't get rid of the dude. He's been...
Is he a Tasmanian devil?
Yeah. Do they ride coattails? So yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, man. No, and you can also find me in the Destiny Down Under podcast, DDU, each Saturday Australian time. So
awesome.
There you go.
Very cool, man. Watts?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts. I'm being a Dawnblade. I'm slamming down, Phoenix diving.
And you're roasting Briar with those flames, right?
Yeah, we are. It's perfect for barbecue.
Briar, where are you going to be roasting out on a barbecue?
I'm out of here. I'm done with this. It's just too far.
That's it. All right. Cool.
That's where you can find Briar.
That's where you can find Briar. Yeah. And I'm Teft Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. I've been doing some YouTube stuff as well. So you can search me on YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you next week for another exciting episode of Destiny. New stuff happening. And we'll see you for side quests on Mondays. And we appreciate all the support. Appreciate our Twitch subs and Patreon members. And yeah. Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.